The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan, the great communicator, was in his second term as President of the United States. Behind the scenes, a scandal was brewing that would rock the nation and stain Reagan's legacy. Known as the Iran-Contra affair, it involved secret arms deals, hostage negotiations, and funding rebels in Central America. This tangled web of deceit and illegal activities raised serious questions about the abuse of power and the limits of presidential authority. The scandal exposed a dark underbelly of American foreign policy, where the lines between right and wrong blurred in the pursuit of Cold War objectives. The American public was outraged, leading to multiple investigations, congressional hearings, and criminal charges. The Iran-Contra affair remains a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of government transparency. It serves as a reminder that even in a democracy, secrecy can harbor illegal and unethical activities. At the heart of the Iran-Contra affair was a cast of characters who seemed ripped from a political thriller. Leading the pack was President Ronald Reagan, whose anti-communist stance led to decisions that backfired disastrously. Oliver North, a Marine lieutenant colonel, emerged as a key player known for his can-do attitude and willingness to operate outside traditional channels. North's ambition led him to become deeply involved in the secret arms sales to Iran and the diversion of funds to the Contras. Robert McFarlane, Reagan's national security advisor, was initially hesitant but eventually went along with the arms for hostages deal. John Poindexter, who succeeded McFarlane, was also drawn into the scandal, leading to his conviction on charges of conspiracy and obstruction of justice. The involvement of these key figures highlighted the complexity and high stakes of the Iran-Contra affair. Their actions would lead to a political crisis that shook the Reagan administration to its core. The Iran-Contra affair began with a seemingly noble goal, securing the release of American hostages held by Hezbollah in Lebanon. In 1985, the Reagan administration received intelligence suggesting that Iran might use its influence to secure the hostages' release. Despite an arms embargo, the administration saw an opportunity to improve relations with Iran and free the hostages. They pursued a secret arms for hostages deal, selling American-made missiles to Iran through Israeli intermediaries. The hope was that these arms sales would incentivize Iran to pressure Hezbollah to release the hostages. The deal violated American law and Reagan's public stance against negotiating with terrorists. Only a select group of officials knew about the plan, keeping Congress and the American people in the dark. This secrecy would later come back to haunt the Reagan administration. While the arms for hostages deal with Iran was unfolding, another clandestine operation was underway in Central America. The Reagan administration was committed to supporting the Contras, a rebel group fighting the Sandinista government in Nicaragua. Congress, wary of American involvement, passed the Boland Amendment in 1984, prohibiting military aid to the Contras. Determined to continue support, the administration explored ways to circumvent the amendment. Oliver North devised a plan to divert profits from the Iranian arms sales to the Contras, violating the Boland Amendment. The money funneled through Swiss bank accounts was used to purchase weapons and supplies for the Contras. The Reagan administration's actions were illegal and unethical, supporting a rebel group with a history of human rights abuses. The Iran-Contra affair began to unravel in November 1986 when a Lebanese magazine revealed the secret arms sales to Iran. Reagan initially denied the reports, but as more details emerged, his administration admitted to the arms sales. Investigators uncovered a complex web of financial transactions linking the arms sales to the funding of the Contras. The money trail led back to the White House, implicating senior officials in the Reagan administration. Congress launched high-profile hearings revealing a pattern of deceit, obstruction of justice, and abuse of power. The scandal sparked a national debate about the executive branch's role in foreign policy. Critics argued that the arms for hostages deal and the diversion of funds were illegal and unconstitutional. They accused the Reagan administration of operating a shadow government that bypassed Congress and the American people. As the Iran-Contra scandal unfolded, it became clear that the Reagan administration had engaged in a systematic cover-up. Documents were shredded, notes altered, and key figures instructed to destroy evidence. The cover-up, orchestrated at the highest levels, deepened the scandal and eroded public trust. Reagan addressed the nation in March 1987, acknowledging mistakes but denying illegal activities. He announced the creation of a special commission headed by former Senator John Tower to investigate the affair. The Tower Commission conducted a thorough investigation, interviewing witnesses and reviewing documents. Its report, released in February 1987, was a scathing indictment of the Reagan administration's handling of the affair. The commission's findings damaged Reagan's reputation and contributed to a loss of public trust in government. The report led to calls for Reagan's impeachment, though these efforts ultimately failed. The Tower Commission's report, released in February 1987, painted a devastating portrait of an administration adrift. It concluded that the Iran-Contra affair was a story of good intentions gone astray, with flawed decisions and illegal actions. The report was particularly critical of President Reagan, stating that he failed to adequately supervise his subordinates. It faulted the administration's obsession with secrecy, which created an environment for illegal activities. The report recommended reforms to the National Security Council and greater congressional oversight of covert operations. The Tower Commission's findings had a profound impact on the Reagan presidency and American politics. It damaged Reagan's reputation, tarnished his legacy, and led to calls for greater accountability in government. As investigations progressed, Oliver North and John Poindexter emerged as central figures in the scandal. North, who testified before Congress in full military uniform, admitted to shredding documents and lying to Congress. His defiant and emotional testimony captivated the nation, turning him into a folk hero for some conservatives. Poindexter, known for his stoicism, testified that he shielded Reagan from the details and authorized the diversion of funds. Their actions raised questions about whether they were loyal subordinates or rogue operatives. Both were indicted on multiple felony charges, including conspiracy and obstruction of justice. North was convicted on 3 counts, but his convictions were later overturned on appeal. Poindexter was convicted on 5 counts, but his convictions were also overturned on appeal. The Iran-Contra affair cast a long shadow over Ronald Reagan's presidency and tarnished his legacy. Despite his denials, the scandal raised serious questions about Reagan's judgment and commitment to the rule of law. Reagan's approval ratings plummeted and he faced calls for impeachment from some Democrats. However, he weathered the storm due to his personal popularity and communication skills. No evidence directly linked him to the most egregious aspects of the affair. Reagan's legacy remained intact, but the scandal served as a cautionary tale about unchecked executive power. The Iran-Contra affair had a profound impact on American politics and foreign policy. It highlighted the dangers of excessive secrecy and the importance of transparency and accountability. The scandal renewed focus on the limits of presidential power and the need for congressional oversight. It demonstrated that even well-intentioned covert operations could have unintended consequences. In the aftermath, there was greater scrutiny of covert operations, and Congress became more reluctant to authorize them. The Iran-Contra affair showed that the abuse of power could easily spiral out of control. It underscored the importance of vigilance in maintaining democratic institutions. The Iran-Contra affair stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions. It showed that even in a strong democracy, the abuse of power is always a possibility. Secrecy and deception can undermine public trust and weaken democratic institutions. The scandal underscored the vital role of a free press, an independent judiciary, and a vigilant citizenry. It serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. The Iran-Contra affair reminds us that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance.